Dallas Goldberg here. Some of you wanted me to shoot another video to explain a little bit more about the head and the details about it. This would have been about the head position when the headshot took place. Headshot would have come from the front, just about like that. So it would have blasted the top out. This flap came down. You can see the flap that's in the photos, and the occipital part blown out. It's a little bit difficult to do fleshy and the hair because it's plaster, of course. So this would have been, of course, shredded and pieces still attached to the scalp. Basically what all the people that saw him that day say, that that's what the head looked like. And now I'll show you the Zapruder film that corresponds with the actual wounds here, and we'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. We look at him, he looks directly at the camera, at Zapruder's camera. So this is the first shot. It's probably fired from the grassy knoll. It missed, totally missed. Because we know it missed because he starts to wave again. Second shot. This is where he starts to go behind the sign. Just as he goes behind the sign, he's struck in the throat. So you see his hands start to come down. He's stopping waving and he's starting to reach for his throat. As he emerges from the sign, both of his hands, he's grabbing for his throat. Shot 3 fires and hits Connolly. Now watch. Connolly's shoulder buckles. Hit from the back. Busted out one of his ribs, punctured his lung, deflated the lung. That's why we see his hair disheveled and his face, his cheeks puff out as his lungs get punctured. Just as he's emerging from the sign, notice here, his arms are directly out. He's reaching for his throat where it's an entrance wound. This is where he gets shot in the back. Notice how his arms flip up. He's struck in the back and it pushes him down. See? So now he's been hit in the throat, he's been hit in the back, Connolly's been hit in the shoulder. But Connolly's still holding his hat, so we know he hasn't had the wrist shot yet. Now that shot hit him in the wrist and it landed in his thigh. That was a vertical shot that came actually from the opposite end of the 6th floor, directly down. This would have been the Oswald window. The shot that hit Connolly came from that window. And remember, the 6th floor was all one big floor. One big open warehouse like this. This photograph. What Grodin did was he peeled the paper that was alongside the edge of the negative, and he got this window here to show up. Zoomed in 2,000 times on it, and this is what you get. This is at the time of the shooting, exact time of the shooting. There's the man's face. This would have been the shot that would hit Connolly in the wrist and then landed in his thigh. A direct downward shot on that angle. You can clearly see his hair, his eyes, nose, mouth. This is his white t-shirt he has on. This is a light fixture that's still on the 6th floor today. Now remember, like I said, the 6th floor is one big room, so if there was anybody in the Oswald window and anybody in this window, which we can see clearly there is, then those two people knew each other that were up there because it's one big room. These are all the interviews that we did for JFK, The Case of Conspiracy, the documentary. I shot all these videos of all the medical personnel and their testimony. This was Paul O'Connor's drawing, and you'll notice this is pretty much what I went from when I was doing the skull. And you notice all the witnesses, all the doctors, they all testified to the hole in the back of the head. We even have Floyd Reeby, who was the x-ray tech that day. Now, the x-rays that you see that they present as Kennedy's are not Kennedy's. I would suggest that they are Tippett's. Because Floyd verified that these weren't his, because he always puts his signature, or he said a mark of some type that showed that he developed those films. This is, again, trying to show that in plaster was very difficult. You can still see the flap. And this was just all shredded. Now you notice the head would have continued down here, but the brace that's holding it up, there's nothing back here to hold it. So this is just pieces of the hair just flipped down. Somebody was saying that this was Tippett. No, there's no mistake. I don't know what they were going off of, but they were saying something about sideburns, and I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but I mean, it's definitely not. That's the shot, another shot that missed. Hit the, I think it was the door frame or the window frame of the car. And the shot, this has been replaced. You can't see that nowadays in Dallas. You can see the one down on the manhole cover that when it struck the manhole, when it struck the concrete, it hit James Tagg in the cheek. Either a piece of the bullet or a piece of the concrete. You can still go down to Daily Plaza and see this. This is still here. The officer saw it, and then he backs off and lets this guy come pick it up, put his pocket. Never entered into evidence. This is about the position, like I said, the head was. This is a good blow-up of the headshot. What people get confused with is they think this is part of his head. That is actually her shoulder. She's wearing a pink dress. His head would have continued up where this is. It's a little bit deceiving because of the shoulder. But you notice, there's the flap. Here's the exit wound out the back. This is the hole. And the whole top of his head, there's his scalp right there, is gone. We see it even better here. So there's actually a manhole cover back here, a sewage drainage that goes underneath the ground up to the other side. This would have been one of the other shots that did the headshot. The first reaction of the people, they ran towards that end. This would have been where the Black Dog Man is, or the the guys behind the picket fence. And this is where Zapruder would have been standing right here on this wall. He was standing right on that piece.